This is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. Not every battle's grand, not every weapon fierce. Even we who fight wars through time forget the value of a word in the right moment, a rattle in the right car engine, a nail in the right horseshoe. It's so easy to crush a planet that you may overlook the value of a whisper to a snowbank. This is How You Lose the Time War is beautiful, indulgent, thin on plot, and a little too pleased with its own cleverness. Like rich chocolate, I think it would be better in a smaller size. And it's already pretty small. It's only 208 pages. The story is written as a correspondence between enemy combatants. The letters are separated by description-rich interludes providing glimpses into moments in time. It's trying to be a playful little tart of a story, and also a witty prose poetry extravaganza, and these goals are somewhat at odds. The poetic nature of the prose and the many, many references and allusions make it hard to understand every specific detail, and many readers, such as myself, might discover too late that you don't really need to understand all the details. The overarching plot is relatively slow and simple. I once heard the advice for authors, above all else, be interesting. After that, be clear. This is How You Lose the Time War puts all of its eggs in the be interesting category. And it is interesting. But this reader sure would like a little bit more plot. If you love lavish prose, time travel, and the enemies to lovers trope, well, nothing has ever combined those ingredients as exclusively as this book. If that's not interesting to you, you should look elsewhere. I ultimately enjoyed This Is How You Lose the Time War. It's quirky, it's different, it's fun, it's short. I assumed that my criticism was a result of me being curmudgeonly and picky with books, and that when I went to Goodreads, I would find that everybody just loved this book. That is not what I found. One reviewer writes, halfway through, all the interesting stuff was left behind for a romance. Another reviewer writes, the combination of high science fiction with poetic literary fiction just didn't click together in my brain. Another says, too extra for me. So your mileage may vary. One of the characters in This Is How You Lose the Time War insists to another that they read Travel Light by Naomi Mitchison. This intrigued me enough that I sought out that book and read it, and now I'm going to review it as well. Travel Light has a wandering, whimsical feel that made me think of a mashup of Ursula Le Guin's A Wizard of Earthsea saga crossed with Howl's Moving Castle. And if that sounds just insanely positive to you, then you probably will love Travel Light, and you should seek it out. Ursula Le Guin is on record as praising it to the moon and back. It's the story of a stepchild princess who the new queen tries to kill, and the baby girl is rescued and taken away by her nursemaid. She is then raised by bears and subsequently raised by dragons. Those parts are by far my favorite parts of the book. Later, the young girl befriends a Valkyrie and also Odin. Later, she serves as an interpreter for some devout Christian travelers who are seeking justice in an imperial capital that turns out to be full of corruption. That latter part wasn't as good in my opinion. There's a lot of religious adjacent content. I mean, obviously there's religious content. There are Christian characters and there's Norse gods. Odin? Norse? I should have looked that up ahead of time. There's no particular judgment on religion as a whole, just judgment on individuals who practice the religion. It's a weird book in that it's sort of a mixture of what feels like is for young adults or even children, but also for adults. And that is probably one of the reasons that Ursula Le Guin loves it, right? Her Wizard of Earthsea series, if you've ever read those, they are kind of for children, but also have a lot of really profound stuff for adults about aging and death and all kinds of adult concerns as well. In that sense, it's really refreshing because I feel like nowadays you have to sort of present your book to an agent already prepared to tell them exactly who you think the audience is. And obviously, if you are targeting a particular narrow audience, such as young adults or middle grade or whatever, then you're not targeting other audiences. Whereas there are some books that are for everybody. Now, whether you think travel light is for everybody or not, that is definitely a matter of debate. There are parts of the book that are very much not for children. Multiple times there's a threat of rape that comes up, and at another point in time, a slave is beaten to death because the horses don't like him. And if that sounds jarring to you in a book that also definitely feels like it's for children because it's about a princess raised by bears and dragons that the evil queen doesn't like, you're right, it is jarring. So overall, travel light is an experience that I just don't know what exactly to think about. That's really all I have to say about that. I have no idea how to end this video. Bye!